Hello, friends. This is Darkscream coming at you with an update about some Ret nerfs that have already gone live, hot fixed in. Now, before you doom and gloom, it's not that bad. I have a couple things I'm worried about, but let's just take a look. So, first of all, the hotfix that is already live, you can see it in game. If you check your tooltips, this is already in there. Long story short, they felt like Ret was doing too much damage. I'm not sure I agree with this actually, but okay. So we took a 3% damage nerf overall. I guess that makes sense. AoE felt a little bit strong sometimes, maybe. An Instrument of Retribution. So this is the free wings you get when an ally dies. This might have been too strong, both in PvP and Raid. Now, there were some PvP nerfs that went live before, but I didn't cover those because who cares, right? Separate game mentality. That's what PvPers wanted. So, I get a little worried when I see this type of thing spill over to PvE, though. I could see this being a problem in large scale content. Like in Raid, maybe that was too good, right? Especially if you got like a heroic, large scale guild sized raid. Maybe that was too good. They're also, once they figure out exactly how to fix it, going to do something to execution sentence. So, yeah, it double dips anytime there's certain kinds of damage boosts on the target, like a boss phase where they're weak and they take more damage. So it's double dipping is essentially what's going on there. It's not fixed yet, but it will be fixed. This is mainly most important fight for this right now is Razagath. So that's probably why it came on their radar. Now, defenses. This is the part where I can kind of get more on board with these, because I think the Ret defense was super good. You were very unkillable. So they say they kind of overdid it, blah, 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 overshot the mark. So, what's changing? Fading Light massively nerfed. Now, for most PvE players, this doesn't actually matter much. You probably wouldn't pick Fading Light because it's a DPS loss and a fairly significant one at that. It was powerful though, and I think this meta of no healer dungeons, you could bring a Ret Paladin running Fading Light, and they were taking care of themselves. It can be very strong. I worry though because it was already kind of not worth picking. Um, Outside of those very niche scenarios, used it like world questing. I used it to solo world bosses, not world bosses like raid bosses, but the elites, right? The ones that only have a couple million health that you can kind of pop your cooldowns and take them down. So that sucks. That's a nerf to that, but not really a big deal. Uh, Reducing the bonus to Shield of Vengeance, so that'll shrink the absorbed shield from Shield of Vengeance. Again, that's a nerf, but I don't really even think you're going to feel that. I was actually finding it wasn't popping on time. Like, it wasn't going off. I couldn't use it for DPS the way that I like to. It didn't feel snappy the way it used to, which goes with this nerf, which isn't honestly might not even be a nerf. So the duration goes down to 10 seconds. It was 15 seconds. I found it was hard to get it to pop in dungeons. Um, like it would just not it would just outlast mobs, or a boss would go to like a transition phase that wasn't good, right? He'd fly away or something. So that kind of thing, I think this actually helps. This is somewhat of a quality of life improvement, even if it is technically a nerf. And last but not least, Lightforge Blessing now heals you and your party for 2%, was 3%. I don't totally understand this nerf. Lightforge Blessing's not doing a lot. However, in combination, all of these things really added up. So for the defensive nerfs, I don't care about this at all, honestly. Um, yeah, I don't think it matters. I don't think you'll feel it. Maybe if you are a Fading Light bro, but other than that. The damage nerf, I'm a little worried about that. I think Ret AoE was maybe a bit good. I didn't think the single target was too good. It felt about, it was kind of top of the average, or like, it wasn't number one, but top five maybe, which seemed fine. So if we take a look at the Simulationcraft, rather, we're still doing pretty okay. You know, I think something to keep in mind, this is single target DPS, so we're about middle of the pack there, which makes sense. We used to be a little closer to the top. Like, I think the Warlocks and Mages and Death Knights were above us, but I think we were ahead of some of these other specs. So it basically put us at the bottom of the 94,000 guys as opposed to the top of the 94,000 guys. Not a big difference, honestly. But if you watched my weekly vault video earlier in the week, then you know that there were some tremendous parses with Ret. It's scales really well with raid buffs and power infusions and all that. So um, kind of made the news this week, and I think that is part of it. Hopefully, this is it for the nerfs, though. My final verdict is you should not be worried. This doesn't really change anything at all. Some of the talents were things you didn't really use or won't really notice. In the case of the Shield of Vengeance changes, I actually feel like it makes it easier to use. Yes, it is less damage absorption and less duration, but what that means is you get to pop the bubble sooner and deal your damage more consistently, so I actually almost consider it a buff in a way. Anyway, that's all we have for the nerf. That's it. It's a pretty small nerf. If you're enjoying these types of updates, remember to hit that like and subscribe for more. Again, my name is Darkscream. We'll see you next time. Peace.